T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bucs Report's very own Live from the Cheap Seats, but not on Sunday. Here on a Friday night, here to kick off your Friday evenings late night for you. Here on Bucs Report, give you some of the info and updates and craziness that's been going on the last couple of days because your Tampa Bay Buccaneers are victorious. Eaten down. That's right. No matter how we did it, no matter how bad it looked, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers came out on top, 1-0 in the season. Final score 31-29. What a game. What a drive at the end of the game. What a damn game. Isn't this great? Isn't the culture great? Isn't this amazing to feel? Isn't it great having this beautiful feeling to start off the NFL season with not only a dub, but putting our damn banner up in the rafters and beating the Cowgirls right on back. Get them, hey, get them back, come back, hey, whoop, go get them out of here. Hell, my hat go. Championships don't fall. That's how it goes. Cowgirls are out of here. Next opponent up, the Atlanta Falcons. But before we get into that, we're going to talk a little bit about this game. Some of the players, get a little bit more in depth, talk to you, the fans, tonight. So before we get right on into it, remember to like, remember to share, remember to follow me, but not only me, Bucs Report. Bucs Report is going to give you all the content that you're going to need this upcoming season for all your Tampa Bay Buccaneers news and roster updates and roster moves. Anything you're going to need to know about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we got you. And if you're a fantasy football fan, why do you think they hired me? That's one of the fantasy football geniuses out there. Every Tuesday night, after Rick Hughes has done his show, I'm going to be giving you an update with my co-host Alex Luce-Moore about the up-and-coming fantasy football week, injuries, roster updates across the board, talking about some sleeper picks, some of the people you're going to need on your bench, and, excuse me, just got off work here. I had to grab a burger. And letting you know, week to week, quarterback, even down to defense, which Tampa Bay Buccaneer you're going to want on your roster, who you're going to want to start, and who you're not going to want to start. And if you want to know what my thoughts were on Chris Godwin, you're going to need to tune into North Sports Dynasty tomorrow because I have some words I need to eat and I have some things that I need to apologize for. And I will do that tomorrow because this is not a fantasy football show. No, we do not deal in fantasy on the live from the cheap seats with Andrew Faubert. No, we deal in absolutes. And absolutes are winning. And a new segment I'm actually going to bring up on this show now that we're finally in football season. Something that Rick Hughes, guy who I've learned a lot from here at Bucs Report, got something that he alluded to and something that he wanted to do that I'm going to respectively say capitalize on, but I'm going to do it because I've done this across a lot of different platforms and a lot of people like to hear it. Is something Colin Cowherd does. So when I was right and when I was wrong. But in this case, Canadians apparently are always wrong. So we'll just call this one Please and Thank You. And we'll get to that later on, where I basically will admit 3 things that I'm going to take pride for being right on. 3 things that I'm going to admit that I was wrong on. And this is something that a lot of people need to get involved into. All right? You're going to say some stuff, and you're going to hope that it goes under the radar. Instead of it coming brought back into your face like a lit firecracker, admit to it. Let's talk about it. Just hold true. That's how you believe. Opinions change. That's how it is. But the opinions about our Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not. Our Tampa Bay Buccaneers raised the rafters. We put on the white jerseys, and we kicked off the NFL season at Raymond James Stadium against the Dallas Cowboys. We were looking a little rusty. Let's admit, just off the bat, we knew and we know that we were an elite team. We had to sit back, get a couple of bumps in there before we finally found our footing underneath us. And when I mean finally found our footing underneath us, I mean Tom Brady, man, it's 44 damn years old, still threw 50 times this game. 50 attempts, completed 32, 379 yards for 4 of those TDs and 2 of those INTs. Those INTs were not necessarily his fault. It's not like we saw the beginning of last year where players were running bad routes and we were all trying to make cases where I don't know what you're talking about. We'll get into that a little bit more later on. The rushing attempts were not the greatest. Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones both only attempting 13 carries combined, both getting 46 yards. When we split it, Leonard Fournette had 32 of them, and Ronald Jones had 14. No TDs. Both had the same average. I actually had a lot of people message me about the fantasy football aspect of this, and I'm going to be dropping a nice little message tomorrow morning. You guys are fantastic. I'm not going to take too much time on this, but there is a lot of you that have messaged me with an influx of messages about who they should start, what they should do. I've even had people say, what's your Cash App so that I can drop you some money so you can help me? And I'm like, we are way not even close to that yet. My information and my help is free, but I love all of you guys and I appreciate you all with the messages about that. We'll get to that later. Antonio Brown? What? Did anybody? A lot of people did. We're going to get into the later. Some people weren't necessarily too high on what he could bring to the team. All right. Okay. But that being said, he got 5 of those catches and he got 121 yards. One of those was a nice bomb where I saw Brady take his arm and noodle that thing. And I thought he was going to blow his down collarbone or his shoulder or something. I was so scared. And then all of a sudden I look on the side. I'm like, that's not 14. That's 81. Oh no, that's another old guy. And you see those old legs. Keep on moving. And he got that TD. That was a hell of a TD by Antonio Brown. Chris Godwin got some action. Fantasy relevance for me. But he got 9 catches, 106 yards, 14 targets yesterday. 14 different targets. Had he not fumbled the ball, he would have had 2 TDs, and he probably would have had about 110. I probably would have guessed at that point. Chris Godwin was going off. All right. This guy is wanting his money at the end of the season, and respectively, he has earned every dollar of what is coming to him. Rob Gronkowski, 8 receptions for 90 yards, 2 TDs. What a great showing off for him. That one play where he kind of stopped and Brady saw it and knew, and then right down to Brady for that little route. Oh, it was gorgeous. Betting wise, I was hoping it was OJ. I could have won a lot of money if OJ Howard would have caught just 2 catches for like 18 yards. I would have a lot of money. but that's not how it goes. I would rather the Bucs win than for me to get a bunch of money. If the Bucs can win and I can get a lot of money, that would be great as well. But the Bucs are projected to win every single week, so you're not going to get too much money on that. And if you want to know exactly what I'm talking about, you got to tune in to Harry the Greek with the over and under every Wednesday, 7 p.m. my time. So it's Eastern, so 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I believe what you guys is for Mountain Time is mine. Eastern Standard Time is yours. I believe that's right. Let me know in the comment section if I'm wrong. But Harry the Greek is the guy you're going to want to talk to about some of these bets, even though +6 Dallas. Mike Evans with 3 receptions for 24 yards. Leonard Fournette also had 5 receptions for 27 yards. Getting in the action too with Giovanni Bernard getting 12 yards on the catch. I was actually looking for somebody on Twitter last night who said, why the heck did we invest in Giovanni Bernard? Are you actually asking that question at the beginning of the game? On the first damn game of the season? You guys got to settle down a little bit here. Okay? Not all of you. Some of the fans that we got here at Bucs Report and some of my fans here that I know are in the comment section and watching here tonight here on the pop-up edition, live from the cheap seats with me, Andrew Faubert, on a Friday night. That's how it is. That's how it is. We're going to have some friends join in, and I'm also going to get some of your guys' takes here in a little bit and drop the StreamYard link here in a little bit. Just want to get through most of the game because the one thing I wanted to talk about was that damn defense. We ain't going to be holding anybody accountable for things that they said. But if you ever come on my show and drop a comment in the little comment section, just know that all those comments are saved unless you go back and delete them. But if it's a comment that I remember, I'll go back and find that comment. If it's not there and I know you deleted it, I will call you out. That's how it is. We don't like to do that here at Bucs Report. But just know this. If you take a good section of my show to dedicate yourself into driving hate into me for saying that our defense is going to be a little slow off of the bat, okay? And all of a sudden they show that they were just a tiny little bit slow off the bat, which means that, am I right? No, I couldn't be. A Canadian? Bleh, disgusting. No. Just means that we all are here for the same thing, and I will never admit those things. But the defense was slow, and it needed to do a little bit better. But this is what happens. Our defense needed to be pushed to its boundaries last year before it's actually before it can know its true potential. Right? The year before that, it started to show what it actually could be. A very good defense. And very good defenses don't always win championships. Elite defenses do. And that's what our defense did last year, is it took that next step and it got to the eliteness. When you win a championship, sometimes you just got to take a step back, especially on defense, because now more attention is going to be drawn on you. Because we're going to find out, are you guys just slow and we have to make faster people, draft faster people, take advantage of them? Is it your run game, which... Sorry, Zeke. Pretty sure the Dallas Cowboys are considering cutting you next year. And you're not going to be making all that money that you are. Because not going to lie, Tony Pollard is looking pretty damn good as a guy who just wants to get paid half of what you're making and would take probably even half of that to be on the Dallas Cowboys for 8 years, 10 years, 12 years. You cost way too much, dude. You're gone. Quote me on it. Lock it. All in all, we lost a couple of players right now. That Sean Murphy-Bunting injury, it sucks. It really does. We don't want to see any of our star players go down. We don't want to see any of our starters go down. And we don't want to see anybody in a Bucs jersey or logo go down. That's just the way it is. Reality is, this is also the sport we play. This is also the sport that we enjoy. And this is also the sport that they play to make their millions. Okay? I believe it was Winfield was going in for that hit. Arm was in the way. I don't think anybody here is going to start throwing hate on Winfield for taking Sean Murphy-Bunting out. If anything, this means there's a chance for Ross Cockrell to get some opportunities here. Jamal Adams, or maybe not, sorry, not Jamal Adams. Adams in the backfield there now that we also lost Whitehead. This is an opportunity for some of these guys to show that they can get paid. It's the reality of the situation. But it also it's going to show if that's the weakness. And a lot of people were even saying in the game when Sean Murphy-Bunting went out, why aren't they throwing it at Ross Cockrell? Well, no, they had found something. They wanted to tire out Jamel Dean. Leave Carlton Davis out on an island with the number one wide receiver. We'll just toss it to CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, some of the other tight ends that we have. And it worked. It actually worked. They got 29 points. And Dak threw for damn near 60 attempts. 42 of those he completed for 403 yards. 403 yards on our defense. Which, again, I'll get to later. Dak Prescott had a hell of a game. Does that look like a guy who's still bummed up in his leg? Does that look like a guy who's bummed up in his shoulder? Not necessarily. Looks like the same Dallas team from week 1 to week 5 of last year. Really solid, fudging offense all around. But your defense needs work. Fantasy-wise, hell, that's a great defense. I'll take Dallas all day because of those fumbles and interceptions that they randomly get. I don't want it for the amount of points that they're letting up. I don't want to be Dallas' defense either. Micah Parsons looked like he was confused at certain points, okay? Now, our Tampa Bay team was not necessarily looking good in the second half. But when there was a minute 24 left in this game, Tampa Bay Buccaneers went down the field, kicked a field goal, and won the game. Had we had done this before last year, we all would have been like, oh, right on. I would have hopped on some shows and talked about how we would have ruined our draft pick. Now we've gone from like 5th to like 8th again. Man, what the hell? We are not that culture anymore. Okay? If we lose, we're not talking about draft picks. If we win, we're not talking about draft picks. The only draft pick we're talking about is Joe Tryon here. This is a different culture. This is a different age. When it became a minute 24 left in the game, for 5 seconds, rip my shirt off like I'm Hulk damn Hogan. And, oh, brother, I'm powered up, brother. We got all juiced up for 5 seconds. I said, that's it. There's not enough time. We're not going to do it. And then I remembered who our quarterback was. And I remember what we did last year. And I remember how much we paid our kicker because our kicker is that good. And I remember the team that we assembled. I remember the beginning of the game, the banner we raised. I remember crying for 12 minutes straight last year, right over there. When I couldn't come down to Tampa to be with all you fans, I had to be up here in Canada and do nothing except sit here and watch it cry, the way it is. We have lived through it all as Buccaneer fans, but now it's over. When it comes to having this losing mentality, I don't have that no more. Because we got the GOAT. We got 2 tutties. We got going for 2. And we got the hell of a defense. Why would we want anything else? So I smacked myself across the face and I said, we are winning this. We're just going to see how it happens. And yes, some people are coming out. I got so many people who like buddies out here, just different fans. I got a Broncos fan messaging me being like, hey, pushed off. I got people who came to my work today too, who are just realizing that they now get to pick up their herbal essences, we'll call it, from me. And get to talk some football for a little bit. Makes for a great combination for some of these guys. They found out I'm a Buccaneer fan, and all of them came in today and said the same thing. You know damn well Chris Godwin pushed off. Technically, by the rule book, it's got to be full. Just like this, okay? It's got to. I'm not And I know some other outsiders are going to come in and be like, oh, he's being the Brady excuse and enthusiast kind of thing. No. Let's go by the rule book here, which has been the same damn thing that has hurt us all before, has it not? If it's like this, with that little bend, you can still see that elbow poking out and like this, it's not a push-off. If that's a push-off, what Chris Godwin did, and you want to take that away, then we're taking away one of the greatest shots that Michael Jordan ever did in front of all of the Utah fans. Was that a push-off? A couple of comments will probably say yes. Teach their own. Technically, by the rule, needs to be a full extended arm of a push-off. But you also can't be a pansy and take a diving call, which we call in hockey, which is he touches you and you're like, oh! Because if we're going to take football and start turning it into football, aka European soccer here, then I'm going to probably stop watching. I don't want a flailing defense win a championship. All right? It's bad enough we got the Detroit Pistons winning championships for literally punching people in the mouths. All right? We're going to give a championship to a team that just flails on defensive side on an NFL game? I do not think so. So with that being said, we won that game. Suck-up was paid. Tampa Bay Ray begged for the leg. And $4.5 million, which I think it's close range, $4 million, $4.5 million. To get that win. It's worth it. How is it not? We're not looking for our next quarterback. He's sitting on the bench learning from the GOAT. We're not looking for offensive linemen to replace anybody about to leave. You're not going anywhere. We're not looking to replace technically anybody until they're willing themselves to leave for better money and better opportunity, which in the next couple of years, don't think there's any other place but Tampa. It's the way it is. It's Tampa Bay, ladies and gentlemen. This is our time. And we showed it last night. One of the top offenses that is probably going to go, I'm going to say top 3 offenses here. The Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys are a top 3 offense this year. You can quote me on it. Lowest would be top 5, top 10 at least. But that's kind of broad. So I'll say top 3, top 5. We came back and we beat them. Doesn't matter how we beat them. Doesn't matter the full scorers. Doesn't matter the 2 interceptions that Brady's got, that I see right here. Doesn't matter that we lost a couple of players. We got the dub. We got to look on to next week. You get the dub, you finish the job, and you look forward. You be happy, of course. You relish in it for a little bit because you deserve that much. But we got to look on. This is only game 1. This is just one step into the big, big goal, which is winning another championship. And hopefully it's, we can get more of our fan bases down there. I mean, look at Loose Cannon's podcast. Those guys are hanging out 3 different locations this year. Get at them for tickets. Pretty sure they got a couple left on a couple locations, but I know 1 or 2 is sold out because those guys are fucking dope. Part of my language. But we're everywhere, man. Up here in Canada, do you think anybody here in Canada is a bigger Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan than me? There's a big old following in Ontario. Those are rich guys. Oh, I can afford to buy all the really good Tampa Bay Buccaneers souvenir and have a suit made out of orange-sicle, this, that, and everything else. Congratulations. I can tell you right now that I would knock out any fan if I had to when they talk crap about my team if I had to. I would also help every damn elderly person into the stadium before I would let any rambunctious kid get in there because this is still the culture of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, we're still winning. It's a lot of retired people who still enjoy watching their Tampa Bay pride. There's many different things you can do to be a diehard fan, and there's many different things that you can do to be a blend-in fan. And I can tell you right now, up here in Canada, My name is starting to be popped off in a lot of different people's mouths, all right? On different radio stations and all across. Not only to Bucs Report here, and it's a big shout out to them because they've been a big contribution into that, but it's also because I just don't care. I have flaunted my love for the Buccaneers when they were crap. I have flaunted my Buccaneers through this big win. But I didn't tempt the sports gods. That's the only thing that I couldn't do. This is your Tampa Bay Buccaneers time, right? I said to be cautious in the past. And we're going to get to that in a little bit here about some other things that you need to just be cautious on. But this is now the winning culture that you have expected here in your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're doing it, man. We're fudging, killing it. Got the Cowboys out. Now we're looking to the Falcons. And don't be surprised if Matt Ryan throws for 350 yards. Okay? It's the way it is. I'm going to drop the StreamYard link in here because sadly here in Canada, don't have a landline as much as I would love nothing more than to have you guys call in and talk through a phone. I know that's a few people's preference, and I totally understand that. You can always pop on without being your face shown or anything like that, okay? But if you have any questions, you have anything that you want to get off your chest as a fan, got about another half an hour to 45 minutes, which is an open platform. I am going to get a couple of miscreants in here in about 5-10 minutes. I am, however, going to want to do a little segment here. And where I said where I was right, where I was wrong, kind of something Colin Cowherd has done. And let's start off with something. I want to start off with something where I was wrong. Okay. This is something that I think a lot of people need to do. And I'm going to get into a lot of these comments here too, because you guys know that it is all about you. All right. But I want to get to the comment section here and I want to get your guys' takes on this because I want to hear you guys drop in some things that you were wrong and you were right about. This is a chance for you to be very, very cocky in the comment section. But if you drop something that you were right about, need to hear something that you were wrong about. Okay. I'm going to admit right now that I was wrong about Antonio Brown. I actually stated to Pewter Report's own Joshua Cole Allen. I stated to an old Bucs Report writer. I didn't think that we necessarily needed Antonio Brown. I didn't. Okay. I figured we could have used Tyler Johnson in that third role and been fine. Figured we could have used Scotty Miller. I figured we could have used really anybody. Didn't necessarily need to bring in someone who was going to be a mental case of what we saw before. And I was fudging wrong. Boy, was I ever. Right? I know a lot of other people were too, but man, I was not right about that at all. Okay? We need to have those three because it gives Tom Brady the ability to be who he always wanted to be. Elite. And proven elite. He's proven it before, but he wants to prove that he can do even better. I was right. I was wrong about that. I was also wrong. About how well our offense was going to do this game. I said that we were going to have a full Super Bowl hangover. I did for 3 games, 3 to 4 games. That we would probably get maybe 21 to 24 points. Brady 3 to 4 touchdowns, depending on what he would have to do. But we would let in a lot more points than we would want to. It's definitely wrong about that. This offense is going to be a lot better than a lot of people are thinking. I can guarantee you that. And the last thing that I was wrong about, I was wrong about Tom Brady. Get it off my chest here. Get it off the first segment of this. I was wrong about Tom Brady. I did not think that old man can throw that ball. Man, that old boy can throw. It's my exact quote that I stated to my fiance last night when I was getting right excited for this game and watching the game. Man, that old boy can throw. Damn. Like the Kevin Hart segment. Damn. I could not believe it. This. If we can keep Brady for another 3 years at this pace, do we really even? Do we go any other route? Do we just keep doing the next till 3 years? Do we just wait until like the wheels literally fall off? And then that year when the wheels fall off, if everything falls off, are we going to accept the first round draft pick, the high draft pick? I think so. That's me. Because I was wrong, man. This guy's 44 years old. He's slinging the ball way better than some of these other quarterbacks. Accuracy, the strength, the look on that thing. That old boy can throw. And boy, I was wrong about that. I don't even know how to properly admit to that one, unless he was right in front of me and be like, Daddy, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. But this is also a segment where I do get to take like a little bit of credit for some things. Number one, I'm just gonna throw it out there. Because it lasted so long. I knew Dallas was going to get that many points. I knew Dallas was going to score 28 points. I said it. I said the final score was going to be 33-28. I got laughed on by Steven Glasker, one of the miscreant zone. Laughed at me. Cut me off on segments. Could you believe that? Telling me, no, Canadian. Dallas isn't going to score that many points. I hope you're in the comment section at least admitting when you were wrong there, Steven. That's on you, buddy. But you know I love you. And then a friendly one, actually. This is a good one. This has been something that me and Harry, the Greek, have been talking for a while. I was right about Dallas covering the +6. And man, I'm very happy about that. Nice joke for me and Harry, the Greek, that's been going on. He said, bet the house on Dallas +6. Now, this ain't me telling you all to start believing in me in bets, because if you're going to start doing that, you're going to lose a little bit of money. That's my track record right now. I am minus 53 cents. I literally have my picks for today, and I got to go check them after this show. Harry the Greek +6, and I'm like, no, Dallas is going to cover that, guys. Dallas is going to cover that. And a lot of people made fun of me. Harry even blocked me off of his show. Not blocked me off of his show, but muted me on his show one time as a joke. And much respect. It was a friendly wager. I actually wish me and him would have made an actual wager on that. But I don't. But it's the same thing that I say last year when I said the Saints were going to beat the Buccaneers week 1. I don't want all you Buccaneer fans thinking that I hate the Buccaneers. I don't. I always want them to win. I don't ever want them to lose. But as my show kind of partakes to, I look at all the teams that are out there, and you got to judge your team. I am a gambler. I like to look at the analytics. Okay. Certain things that you got to do. You don't always bet on your team to win, but when you got a hunch and they give you money and they're teasing you to do it, that's when you kind of do it, in my honest opinion. So, and also I'm just going to state this. I was right that I would turn my fiance into a Bucs fan. Oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. The hottest Canadian up here, besides me, obviously, greatest 4.5 you've ever seen. But my fiance is now a Buccaneers fan. It said it couldn't be done. It's been done. The ceremony happened last night, and it was absolutely plentiful, beautiful, whatever you want to call it. I said it would happen, love. I told you. I love you. Mwah. So this is my little segment where I was wrong and where I was right. What I did wrong, what I said wrong, what I said right. So drop in the comment section everything else that you want to get off of your chest. And remember, if you want to admit to something that you were right about and you want to be all about it, I ain't going to put it up unless you have something right beside it that says that you were wrong. I ain't even going to put it up. We ain't playing that game on this show. And before we get some of these people to hop up on the show and talk to me about, some stuff, get through the comments here. Johnny Dean says, what's up, guys? Christopher Cole, what's up, everyone? Christopher Cole, the winner of the Braden Point puck, signed and certified on the North Sports Dynasty show. Going to be sent to you here in a couple of weeks when I actually have the cash flow to get and sent it to you. I knew that game was going to be close. And props to you. I know you were saying that through all the spick in the mud, I guess you would say before too. Well, as it stands right now, we're the only undefeated team in the league. You're damn right, David Mosier, we are. It's going to take a few weeks to get it going. I have said that too, week 3 or 4. I think that Patriots game is going to be the big kicker. A lot of people saying it's the Rams game. I think it's going to be a Patriots game, personally. Happy Friday, everybody. Whoa. Matt, how we doing? Oh, no, you can come right back in, buddy. I was literally just going to pop you in. How you doing tonight, my friend?
Well, I was going to talk. I need to turn the TV off or you're listening to some junk, so bear with me a minute.
Not a problem. I'll get you out of here, and we'll get him back in here in a second. It had I had 31-27, missed by 2. Me and you were pretty close on it, and a lot of people looked at me like 33-28. Like, when the hell? Anyone would have guessed 31-29? People have guessed 31-28, not 31-29. I was pretty close. It said 38-28. A lot of people were in that ballpark area. So remember, everyone, game 1 is always a lie. That is always true. Does Andrew have dual citizenship when he's on the Bucs report shows? Technically, no. I can keep my own Canadian since can't really speak tonight, guys. I apologize. My Canadian citizenship. There we go. But that's I'm coming down. Once all this crap kind of ends, I'm coming down there. And I even told the fiance, like, listen, I'm just gonna rack up a couple of bucks and just drive for like 2 weeks. Come down there, do some shows, party with all of the fans. That's the dream. What's up, Andrew? Stephen Glasgow, good to see you tuning in tonight, my friend. They passed for over 100 combined throws between Brady and Dak. How amazing is that? What a flipping game. And the blitzing gave the wide receiver a chance to show off on the Cowboys. Very true. It's not that Todd Bowles was like a deer in the headlights or anything there, but it was more like I gotta have to try to blitz, but damn, these wide receivers are good. Walito Echeverria, thank you for tuning in. I hope I said that right as well. Yeah, as much as we love Brady throwing the ball, we don't need to have him throw it 50 times. That means the running game is a non-factor. We still need to balance the pass and the run. I agree. And that's why I'm thinking that if these running backs don't get it going here soon, I do think we're going to start leaning on Gio a little bit more. Not going to lie, I left Brown on my bench. I didn't even. I'm so dumb, man. I'm not even going to try trading for him in my dynasty league because I just look like an idiot. Someone would screenshot my attempt at it and be like, "Look it, he's doing it. He's doing it. He's trying to trade for Buck play." I'm not going to do it. I have Chris Godwin who went for 22.9 points, so I'm good, man. I did start Dak against Loosemore. Oh, Alex. Hey, quick shout out to my co-host. He is dealing with a sickness right now, some COVID-like symptoms. Hoping that he gets through this. I do not think he's going to be able to pop on the show tomorrow. He gave me a shout out on that. Me and the fiance were talking about it last night. Teared up a little bit because I don't like to see my co-host go through that again. So everybody, thoughts and prayers to my co-host, Alex Loosemore, in the comment section. And hope that he gets through this perfectly. AB roasted his corn. Man, did he ever. It looked like prime AB. Ben Parrish, thank you for tuning in tonight, brother. Here we go. Reds rants? I might think so. He's also a Riders fan. Oh, don't have to do that to me, buddy. You don't have to do that to me. I was going to go to the game tomorrow, but I got way too much stuff to do. The defense we're playing against an equal or better offense, sometimes that will make them look worse than they actually are. That's just true. Very true. Thank you, Johnny. Ed Keto Moorhead. We finna blow past the rest. I agree, buddy. I agree. There's a couple in there, though, that I'm just like, it's not that I'm scared. It's more nervous. It's same thing as last year going into some of these games. He's got that some games, but those are the ones like say next week where we're like, oh, we're going to blow past Atlanta. That's the one that's going to scare me more than anything. And also anytime we play the Giants, because I really hate the Giants and I don't ever want to see my stadium filled with Giants flipping. Yeah. It was a beast. Oh, man. Isn't it cool having like our own little version of a flying Hawaiian Aaron Donald? My God. Ed Keto, facts. Thank you, brother. Dean got exposed. I'm still wondering why he didn't give why we didn't give him help. I think that's kind of this might actually sound weird, Matt, but I think they were doing this weird chess game where it's like if you were to drop Winfield down for that coverage, knowing that the safeties were already kind of thin, that is when they could have possibly taken advantage of Cockrell, and it could have been even worse. I think it was some kind of a weird chess game, but I was even thinking that at some point too, which led me to that assumption where it's like, I think Dallas might actually be a little bit smarter than we think like we the fans think they are. McCarty is a good coach. Just sometimes his play calling wasn't the greatest. He should have let Kellen Moore have it. And I'll get you guys in here in about 3 minutes. I just want to get through a couple more comments. I got a couple of the guys waiting. A win's a win. I'll take it. Hells yeah, buddy. I'll take it every time. Correct, Christopher. Via had a highlight game. That is true. I need to get my mouse over on this side. Where's my mouse? There it is. Hello. Matt Colson again says, yeah, I was just moving people like a bulldozer. I cannot believe that. Zeke picked up the blitz all night. That's true. Yeah, but he's paid to run the ball. He was a no-show. Very true. I actually liked Pollard a lot better. This guy cracks me up. Joe Kenda, I appreciate you. I ain't a comedian like our Johnny B, but I tell you what, if I got down to Florida, I would probably do an open mic night with Johnny B, and I would want to charge people because, man, the amount of people that would show up for that and how funny that stuff would be. The red leaf, Hans, that's going to make me cry. The red leaf rocket, that someone screenshot that. I'm an emotional wreck. I love you. I love you, Hans. You're my boy, Blue. Dallas whole run game was shut down. That is something the Tampa Bay defense has done consistently for the last 3 years. Oh, hell yeah. AB was on fire. You're damn right AB was on fire. 1:45 left on the clock, and Bray has the ball. No stress there whatsoever. I agree there, Johnny. Constance Teasler. My apologies if I got the last name wrong, but hey, Andrew, hello to you as well. Week 1 games are always unpredictable. Dallas played over their expectations, and we were underperformed. It's exactly right. If you look at last year, some people made a lot of money off of Jacksonville beating Indianapolis week 1. A lot of money. And I don't think you're going to find too much value for that this weekend, but there is some there. He just ran 11 times or so. Exactly. His best run was at 13 yards. Everything else was just crushed. Exactly. 32 of 50. Brady's 100th 300-yard game. That is right. That was not a push off. Godwin boxed him out, and the defender just tripped. There was no extension. Exactly. Dude, this, okay, to here is not that. This is not that. Fudge yeah, Matt. Fudge yeah. I'm getting you on here soon. Don't you worry. DB was falling before contact, actually. Yep. I saw that too. Yeah, he was. Game plan needs to get a lot better. Little Super Bowl hangover. Just we'll get back there. But thank you for tuning in to Passio. Brady and Breeze are the only 2 quarterbacks in history with 100 300-yard games or over. That's insane. Too bad one of them is Drew Brees, though. 6 wasted throws at the end of both halves and a Hail Mary. Dumb football. Sorry, I choked on my laughter there. That was true. Smart at the end, though. Very smart at the end. I'll get those off put them on the stat board. I don't care. But that Hail Mary, I don't understand the call, but I get it. Let's go. Breeze grew hair. Oh man, Matt, I can tell you right now, I hit the wrong button last night because I had a couple of drinks. And man, if I would have been able to get that one video I had taken of Drew Brees, I basically zoomed up on him on my TV and I was like, I understand the one Super Bowl and I get all the millions of dollars to talk on the thing and I go, hey, I did it. My army made the noodles. Like, oh yeah, it was hilarious. I was just killing myself laughing. I hate that guy and the Saints. Wonder how much he paid for those follicles. Hey, who knows? Aleem Anderson says, we've got one problem this season, Jameis Winston. Starting for New Orleans, he will be a problem. The only reason he will be a problem is because he knows some of the defenders, but the problem is he don't know Devin White, though. But I know what you tried to do in there. I know what you tried to do in my comment section. Did Andrew just say he was popping off in a lot of people's mouths? Damn. How does the pretty lady feel about that? I mean, you're going to make me say it, Johnny. Come on now. Atlanta versus Tampa will be a great game. As always, got to love those divisional rivals. Yeah, but you're going to lose, Kyle. Loser. Love you, buddy. Thank you for tuning in. I think everyone was wrong about Brown. No. I listen. When people say things on the show, and if I remember who says it too, I always give them a shout. Shout out to Joshua Cole Allen for stating that. And shout out to I think it was Harry or Rick. I want to say Rick too. But shout out to Joshua Cole Allen because he was the one. He's like, Andrew, let's talk about this. And we actually had a good 10-minute, say, kerfuffle about it. A very friendly kerfuffle. And I was very impressed with the things that he was bringing up. And I don't want to say stuck in my own head or anything like that, but I was like, the guy's older, man. Like, we got young guys coming in. And he was very adamant. So I give the credit where it's due, man. Great show, brother. Love the energy you bring on the daily. Brother, I love you, man. I love all of you guys coming in, watching me. This crazy Canadian, man. It's what I do. It's what I do. I'm locked up in this basement. Kids are 2 stories up above me. Can't necessarily hear me. If they do, it's only because I get into a major rant. And honestly, man, I love all of you guys. I love the fact that I get to talk to you guys every single day. It's also like a tease, man. Because every time with Bucs Report, you get to meet Harry the Greek, and you get to meet some of the other guys from Bucs Report down at the restaurants. I don't want to get them wrong. So if anybody knows what restaurants they are, just drop them in the comment section there and let everybody know. But the day that I get to come down, like for 2 weeks, I already told my fiance, the pretty lady, 1 week is work. Okay. And that work is going to meet every single person. Me getting into Raymond James Stadium and just taking pictures. Okay. And I'm just going to be an emotional wreck because I have dreamed about going to some of these places and seeing some of these things. I don't get to go to the Joe in Detroit. That's on me. But I'm getting to Raymond James Stadium before that thing is gone. I'm getting to Raymond James Stadium to see a game with all the Buck Report fans and all the fans that I've made along the way. I'm doing it. It's happening. So you don't know Tommy Terrific Brady? No, I do now. The game he had on the edge all the way through. John Corathers, thank you for tuning in. I agree. All the way through. And then I realized, I'm like, we got Brady. We're good. Bucs Report also says same. I'm aggravated that Evans didn't get targeted more. Do you feel like Brady is going to lean on Brown and Gronk and leave Evans out? He's an all-star. Love Evans. Want to see him get more ball play. Here's the thing, actually. I think this actually goes more in matchup placement. Some teams are going to have certain corners and certain other personnel that may target Evans differently than they may target Godwin or Brown. Next week, and maybe the week after, if we keep not targeting Evans, they're going to move all their best players to our, Godwin and AB and Gronk and some of those. Then all of a sudden, we're going to have a nobody one game left on Evans, and they're not going to game plan properly for what would happen if Evans actually did go off and get targets. So we have so many people that we do have to feed, and that does become a problem, yes. But it's also a benefit. It's a great benefit to have here. Amazing benefit to have, honestly. Evans is still going to be relevant. Just like Godwin will and just like AB will. But there's going to be games where they don't get the full look. That's just going to happen. Whoever betted the 5.5 early on, they lost their mortgage. Yes, they did. But like I said, Harry the Greek is actually really, really good on bets, okay? The Dallas one is, don't take what I'm just saying. Me and him I'm just throwing some shade at him because I love the guy. The only reason I'm giving him any heck is because he is so good. And it's the one that I was like, nah, I'm calling you out on that one. So, Alim Anderson, he will never be a problem. Winston is a screw up and always will be no threat at all. No. You don't want to say that. He can be. He could come in and do a little bit of damage. We just got to be careful. Alice, get better, dude. Send him my wishes. Fast recovery. Loving that right there. Learning how to close games. That's another big one, Ben Parrish. Damn right. Choking on laughter is the most Canadian thing ever. Also, that's my fiance there too. God, she looks damn gorgeous, doesn't she? I think Stephen Glasgow was the most pro Brown. Okay, yes, maybe it was then. I know Rick and I were not in favor. Thank you. See, look at the honesty we got going here. So that's where the props to Stephen Glasgow for that. Okay, kerfuffle. Kerfuffle is now the most Canadian thing ever. There we go. They had him in the barbershop getting his haircut or whatever it is. Watching your show from Hanford, California, repping my Bucs gear at the gym, smiling at the cowgirl fans, saying who's next. Oh, Ben, I appreciate that, man. That actually makes me feel good because I'm actually trying to get I'm skinny as all hell, dude. I'm trying to get back into the workout routine here, look a little bit better because my fiance looks hella good. She's gonna leave me one day for somebody that's gonna be jacked as all that kind of stuff. So even though she's going to come in here and tell me otherwise, Evans was targeted in short yardage far more than ever before. So I see him being utilized in a lot more situations this season. That is true. And we love Harry the Greek. That is also true. All right, Mac, how you doing tonight, buddy? Apologies for the wait.
What's that?
I said apologies for the wait. Just wanted to make sure I got through all those comments. And by the time it looked like I had gotten through all of them, I did one little click down and it went again. I was like, oh no.
Yeah. So,
and we also got
people are listening. That's
yeah. Listen, all the fans that we got in here, from Hans, Ben, Alim, Christopher Cole, all those guys. You guys are awesome, and I love every single one of you.
I'm a little let down on Hans Gruber though. He should have named you he should have named you the Ginger Al Qaeda since he's on me all the time.
I had forgot about that. A man that I also did not want to forget about. The man, the myth, the legend himself, to give his take on the game and also wanted to join in on the conversation tonight. The dude himself, the Dude Meister. How we doing tonight, boss man?
Can I just say a couple things here real quick? First of all, Matt, good to see you, brother. Andrew, dude, check you out, bro. It's good to see. Does that mean we're getting 3 straight days of Faubert?
Yep. You got me tonight.
Lord.
You got me tomorrow for some fantasy football talk with only fantasy football, basically. And then I'll be live Sunday night to give basically an update about the Atlanta game and to have a little bit more fun. So,
absolutely. Dude, hey, can I just say, yesterday we saw a lot of great performances on the field the whole day. But I think the MVP, as was pointed out earlier tonight, the MVP was that rapid regrowth of hair on Drew Brees' head.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Drew Brees' hair doctor. We would like to talk to you about a sponsorship here at Bucs Report. We feel as though we do reach a large male pattern baldness audience and demographic. Now that we got that out of the way, hey, great job tonight earlier, Andrew. Way to let your hair down. Now, normally I would say you might be too young for this reference. I know Matt will get it, but here's what I will say. I know you'll get this stuff. Okay. Most people your age wouldn't. The wife pointed out earlier tonight as she was watching you rant and raving, he reminds me of a real life Captain Caveman.
Whoa.
Right.
And you know what my response was? Unga bunga.
Yeah.
So
every time.
Hey, that game, if you weren't a fan of either team in that game yesterday and you watched that game, that was for a kickoff game, the first game of the season, a Thursday game. Thursday games always suck.
Yep.
That was a phenomenal game.
That was a great game.
And anybody who ever watched football in the last 2 decades, if you thought when they handed the ball back to Tom Brady with over a minute, I'm not even going to say how much time, just over a minute and a timeout, and all he needs is a field goal, dude, you don't know football.
No.
All right? The pass interference that you guys are whining for, Cowboy fan, cowgirl fan, all whatever gender Cowboy fan was it? Yeah. Buyout. Anyway, long story short, his arm, it wasn't even a matter of his arm extending, like Andrew said. That's the icing on the cake. The fact was a back shoulder fade like that is designed to put the defensive back off balance and out of position, which he was. They're running full speed, and then he has to stop. At least the wide receiver knows he's stopping. This guy is stopping unprepared. Therefore, the laws of physics say if you watch, they all rock back on their heels or the side of their feet facing away from the receiver. He's already going backwards. The hand gesting or the hand jiving, that happens at the top of every route in the NFL now. Yeah, that's literally all they do anymore. Did it look that way? Sure. But if you really stopped once they showed the slow motion, you understood that. That's why there was no call. And even at that point, dude, that crucial part of the game, you're going to make a call like that as a ref. Dude, I know you're related to the great Hockey Lee, the referee, but that guy who was refereeing last night, you ain't him. Don't make your name like that.
I know exactly. And Matt, so you have been watching this game too. What do you think? Did they look like they had the Super Bowl hangover a little bit? Like, did they kind of brush off most of it?
Yeah, I made a comment to Teresa Baxter about it. They opened up like they'd read too much of their press, and they just didn't look ready. But I'm going to attribute part of that to the preseason no-show. They only played in one game.
That's
and
true.
What Chris Collinsworth was talking about, that all these players are getting cramps and stuff. It wasn't Dallas getting cramps. It was the Bucs. This is our home turf. This is our home atmosphere. We should be able to deal with this, but it wasn't working like that.
No.
What bothered me about that game is we gave Dak confidence, and that built up over the period of the game. I had that game at 31-17 because
that's right, you did.
Yeah, and I knew we were going to get 30, and I said, I don't know if they can get 29. Well, damn if they didn't try. So
right.
So yeah, we did a lot of things wrong. Losing Sean Murphy Bunting was a big hit.
Yeah,
and it looked like Dean just wasn't ready, and they knew it, and they were picking at him. And it was like, here's the rookie in the backfield. That kid Adams that came off the practice squad played like an all-star. The dude was everywhere.
He did. Yeah,
he looked like John Lynch for a second there. And then you got Jamal Dean, who's on the roster, and he didn't show up. And you could look at his face; he was getting frustrated. And you could tell that it was getting in his head a little bit. But the dude texted something on Messenger, and we both agreed. Why don't they put somebody over there? Because there was a break. There was a commercial break, and I said, "Watch when they come back. They're going to throw at Dean and get the third down, whatever it was. I forget exactly where it was in the game. But damn if they didn't do that." And if my dumb ass in Oklahoma,
third down Dean yesterday.
What's that?
He was third down Dean. Every time they had third down and they had to throw it, they went at Dean's direction.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And I'm surprised that Todd Bowles didn't do something to correct that. It was obvious that Dallas was afraid of the middle. They weren't going to run up the middle. They weren't going to play up the middle. They were giving the linebackers and the front seven all the respect in the world, and they were going to pick on the edges. It started out that way. Everything was a screen. Everything was to the outside. And then when Dean was in there, the threat was gone. Because if you got him on one-on-one, Chris Collinsworth said he's well known for taking a bite on the double fake. Well, if Collinsworth knows it, then I'm damn sure Mike McCarthy knows it.
Exactly.
And it was evident. You know, if we hadn't had a field goal kicker with a bad back shank something worse than me on the golf course, this game would have been lost because Dallas would have had that extra 3 points, theoretically. But
theoretically, of course, yes.
Or Tom Brady would just executed a winning touchdown drive instead of field goal drive.
Well, that's true. Too, we can kind of expect it. Now, what he just said, isn't this funny? 3 years ago, we'd have said, well, I hope we can win a game.
Exactly.
Now we say we're going for another championship, and people believe it. And when we say, well, we need a touchdown, well, Tom's going to get us one. It isn't a thing, well, Winston's going to get us down to the 17 and throw a pick in the end zone.
Or Brad
we don't
Johnson.
have that mentality anymore.
Or Trent Dilfer or anything like that. No, it's like, it's weird.
Yeah.
You know?
As a lifer, this is, I've said this before, we get this every 20 years. So live in it, roll in it, bathe in it, whatever you got to do. Get your little world rocked, because it'll last for 2 or 3 years, and then we're going to have to replace him with somebody normal. And even great normal, even if we had Herbert from San Diego coming over here, that's not Tom Brady. And you're going to go back to that mentality that we had with Winston, like we can get close, or Brett Favre, and get in the fourth quarter. We're going to either go all the way and win it, or we're going to throw an interception that's going to change the complexion of the game.
Very true.
We don't have that issue with Tom Brady, but I don't think Tom Brady really wanted to work that hard last night. That was stressful. And it was. I've seen comments where people saying, "Why did we just throw the ball away 3 times? Why didn't we go to the end zone?" It's pretty simple. We wanted the clock to go away. We didn't want. We're going to get the points. We didn't want the clock there.
That's safer than running the ball.
Yeah, they're way safer. Like back
Yeah.
in the day, that would have been a thing to do. Like just give it to the running back, let him dive it down
Right.
3 times, let him take the timeouts or whatever. Nah. I think that kind of showed even when it was Giovanni Bernard on the field. I think it was kind of Bruce Arians being like, I don't no running backs. Let Brady just throw it out of flipping bounds. And that's what happened. Like Giovanni Bernard, he would look at Brady and you saw that one angle where he's looking at Brady and he'll wait. And Brady's doing his whole command. And you see Giovanni Bernard be like, hey, and Brady will go something like this, right? And he's got it. And it was, and he's doing all this. And it was the same play all 3 times, but it was just messing with Dallas's defense enough to allow. And I believe if you go and look at the tape, I think on 2 of those plays, it was one specific player. And then on another play, it was a different player. So Dallas was confused as all hell. They were like, they're not running it? Wait, what the hell? Okay, they threw it. Oh, it's just a miss. And then second down, it was basically on purpose. They figured it was going to be that on third down, but this is also the Bucs. They have shown last year too that we're not going to do necessarily what you think we're going to do. And it worked. And I was so flippin' happy about that. And I was very happy of a couple of other players or people that called that online, because I'm not going to hate on guys and gals. I'm not going to go in and like tear down their throats like, you just shut up and understand. I'm going to settle down a little bit. I'm going to give some of the new culture here some time to understand like what we need to do and stuff like that. Sometimes people say on social media or whatever, they haven't seen it before, right? They're used to seeing the norm of whatever. All we got to do is just give them nice little friendly reminders. And I think we're going to be fine on that. But I knew it. After the first one that happened, I knew exactly. At first, I was like, what did he do? Oh, okay, he's going to do that another 2 times. We're going to cut it down to about, okay, hell yeah. We got this. It was a great game. I'm just so happy that we got that. I got a couple comments here that I wanted to get to as well. Aleem Anderson says, and if the Saints fix those problems, especially the turnovers, then what? Replaced by Tom Brady to being Drew Brees' replacement, hotbed for revenge games. I'm actually going to agree with you here, Aleem. And not even if you're just trying to, troll. And if you are, it's actually a really good comment to troll because it's very well written, actually. I do think that if the LASIK is fixed and if Sean Payton has formed a type of offense around Jameis where Taysom can still flourish in what he does best, they can be scary. And this is the reason I have them at 12-5. I do think maybe later on in the season, Taysom might get 3 or 4 games to start. It's just the way it is. But I do think they have the capability and the offensive line, which Johnny Dean, which I'll bring him here in about a minute or two, has reminded me. The Saints offensive line is top tier in the NFL. As much as I want to hate on the Saints for everything that they are, because they suck, you can't hate on their offensive line. They have a very, very good offensive line, and they have a very respectable defensive line. But in a whole, they still suck. So that's just me. So if you see me hating on the Saints, it's actually not just because of Winston there. It's really not even him. It's just that whole organization as a whole. So call the NSA. It's y'all kinda is what Han
there
said.
He is.
There he
is.
I'm
going to change that on my banner. I'm just going to put that down there.
I like that. The last 130 was awesome. Ben Parrish said, I agree. I think everybody was loving that last 130, man. Jinjakaida. Hey, you know what? By the look of this beard, too, I mean, yeah. I've had people, I got a new job and I sell, I'll say herbal essences until I get full permission to say the real word on this show. But I had people come in and be like, oh my God, your beard. And I'm like, yeah, it's really nice. And I had one lady go and be like, has anyone ever got lost in your beard? And I'm like, yeah, my fiance. And she goes, oh crap, cool. Can I grab some of the, it was quite nice. I'm like, thank you for that.
It'd have been great if you could have pulled like somebody out of your beard and handed, here you go.
Yeah, here you go. That game was genius on part of the NFL. I was so against the Bows as our first game. I was wrong. Hey, there you go, Johnny Dean. We'll get him in here, like I said, in a minute. Appreciate that. Well, it's nice to finish another one under the lights. I agree. I love games under the lights, man. They targeted everyone who was in one-on-ones. That is also true. Todd Bowles was just smiling on the sidelines. Also very true. That's dumb. Never saw that with the Patriots. Fair. That's fair. And they should have just took a knee and then spiked the ball. Well, we took a big risk in getting somebody injured by running those plays. In a way, though, David, if you did see the way that those plays were rolling, like the way that they were doing it, they were kind of going softcore vanilla. And the way I say is vanilla is they weren't necessarily going out there to like hit on anybody or anything like that. Every time Giovanni Bernard went out there, it was just being touched by another player. And even at that case, too, that's a suspension and a fine on the player if they were to do anything bad, right? So can Winston make a smart and quick decision? Possibly.
No.
I know a lot of people on Bucs Report, and maybe not to say Bucs Report as a whole. I don't want to put them on a category like that, but people at Bucs Report, and I know a lot of Buccaneer fans are going to say that. I think if he is given the opportunity and Sean Payton can make him a better quarterback than what Dirk Cutter did and allowed with the offensive line, I mean, there is a chance where he can be. We just have to see. So let's get the Dude Meister back in here, but let's also bring in the NFL edition with Johnny Dean, bring in the core of the crew in here for a last 15-minute breakdown of the game and fun chatter on this Friday night. And just a reminder to everybody here while I got all these guys on, check out Buck What You Heard on Wednesdays with Gene Thomas, 7 p.m. Eastern time for you guys. We also got the Hard Count Football live on Tuesdays with Mr. Jacob. I was going to say Johnny. With Jacob Charnell. Speaking of Johnny, since he is here, I'm just going to full screen on him because I got to still get that picture up for you, Johnny. Johnny Dean in the NFL edition is live up on Thursdays with my co-host Alex Loosemore, talking all NFL.
And as you can tell by Johnny Dean's eyes, put him up there full screen. He is a customer of the Herbal Essence company you work for.
Very true. And also in the comment section, shout out to my co-host who is just currently battling COVID right now. Shout out to him, and everybody leave your thoughts and prayers for him. We also got here at Bucs Report the Over and Under on Wednesdays night with Harry the Greek, 9 p.m., which is 7 p.m. on my time. And also, What's Cooking in the South with Rick Hughes going on Saturday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. He also does the Bucs Report shows Mondays and Fridays, which I am stepping in for tonight. A little bit later tonight, obviously, just so that I was at work, so my apologies. But he does the Buck Show with the real Rick Rants Mondays and Fridays. And we got some other guys like Johnny B, even though this one says Sunday nights at midnight. I think he has moved to Tuesdays. I am correct, right, dude?
It's actually Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. Live here on Bucs Report.
Thank you. That's what it was.
Hey, no problem.
Y'all got to catch his little song he put together for the game.
If I had enough time right before this show, I would have put it up. I'm going to get all of the goulash and hypothetical stuff all ready for Sunday night after we have a nice little talk about the Atlanta Falcons and a couple updates about, some of the games that happened over the Sundays. So,
I have a question, teacher.
Of course.
Actually, for all the guys, even the red-eyed dude right there. The Buccaneers, not Jordan White. Whitehead should be in next week, but Murphy Bunting's out 3 to 5 weeks, correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that true? Oh, my goodness. Yeah,
should they go for a free agency signing? And I'll let your mind wander there, Andrew. Because I'm going to create a rumor. You ready for a new segment? The dude creates a rumor.
Give it. What you got?
This is in conjunction with Rick Hughes. Okay. Here's the rumor. The Buccaneers need help and depth, if nothing else, at defensive back, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Murphy Bunting out. That means who's going to fill in for Murphy Bunting?
Russ Cockrell.
All right. Would you rather have Russ Cockrell or Richard Sherman?
Richard Sherman. All day. Every day.
And if he comes for a deal like the other guys did last year, that veteran minimum-ish area with some incentives, could you see that happening?
I've been preaching it all day.
It's 3 to 5 weeks, dude.
To be honest, There's a corner, and I'm just drawing a blank on his name. There's a corner that we had either last year or the year before that played in our nickel position that was really, really good.
Evans.
No, not the safety. It was a corner. I want to say Johnson or something like that, and he ended up getting paid somewhere a little bit. But he usually came in as our backup corner and as our nickel position. He did really, really good.
Andrew Adams.
Andrew Adams was a safety. I know we've had him, and he's also came in and
Well,
popped in.
yeah, but Andrew also played that nickel position too.
Okay, so it was Adams, and it was the guy that had the full-time position before him. I'll have to pop it up, or I have to get the name for everybody after the show. But if anybody knows, or anybody else knows who I might possibly be thinking of, just let me know in the comment section. But he was really good a couple of years ago. He was underrated. He got cut just because of the new roster and regime that we were bringing in, obviously, with this championship caliber team. And I think he started getting lost with grace because he was really good, but then we got three corners that end up, being really, really, really good. So, but yeah, I'll let Matt go just because, and Johnny, because I'm torn. What do you think, Johnny?
I think me and the dude talked about this earlier, man. I agree with him. I think not only that his kind of experience in the NFL, if his mind is right, and we know about that, right? He's been going through some troubles himself here lately.
This is
if
true.
his mind is right, he'd be a great teacher with them young cornerbacks and stuff also.
That is a very good point. I don't mind the Richard Sherman one. So,
my point with the Richard Sherman thing is, he's old and he's lost a step or whatever the cliche is, right? He's still got the knowledge, experience. If you can get him at a veteran minimum, when Murphy Bunting comes back, he becomes more rotational or situational. So a guy like that, he's not going to have to play every snap like he normally did. And let's be honest. We weren't sure if Leonard Fournette was a fit till late in the season. He became playoff Lenny.
That's a very, very good point.
And granted, Leonard Fournette's young. This guy's old. But what I'm saying is Richard Sherman's been sitting and hanging out. He's fresh. Veteran minimum, I would do it because, we can't give up that many, that much yardage through the air. We can't let teams continue marching up and down the field.
That's my point with him also, because you need that field general on the field in the secondary, just like you need Levante David and JPP and those guys on the line to get everybody placed right. And that's the one thing we have been missing, and we've been giving up a lot of yards. Even last year, we gave up tons of yardage in that secondary. It's not due to the people's that are out there's athletic abilities. It's just due to positioning and getting in the right spot at the right time and recognizing what they're saying.
Yeah, and Sherman's got the history behind him. He may be old, he may have lost a step, but he knows how to play the position.
Yeah, Sherman
like Rondé Barber wasn't as fast when he got towards the end of his career, but he still was effective because he knew how to play the position.
Rondé Barber was never fast. He always knew his angles. That's what made Rondé Barber great. He knew those angles and he recognized what he saw.
And Sherman would be able, like you said, Johnny, he'd be able to instruct people like Jamel Dean and show them where they're messing up. Even though there's probably 3 coaches that are going to be talking to him tomorrow.
Andrew's like, damn it, dude, did you have to bring in a topic like this?
No, not at all. This is a really good topic because I'm actually sitting here because and it's not, I want to make,
Well, Richard Sherman a week ago was talking about, I'm still available. It was on a Bleacher Report blip that he's still looking for a team in case people forgot. So I would have to think that if he's putting that out there to the press, that he's in shape and that he wants to play. And I think what the dude said about the way his position would work through the year after Sean Murphy Bunting comes back, where he's just a spare extra.
It's good for playoffs perfect. And stuff.
And so he's not a problem in the locker room. I don't think. I've never heard of him being disruptive.
He's been a teacher everywhere he went, actually.
Yeah, if anything, that off the field stuff, I think would kind of be like the Antonio Brown stuff, where it's like, if you're going to enter our locker, you can shut the hell up. And, if you're going to do any of that kind of stuff.
It's almost like when Tom Brady walked in that locker room, all the shenanigans stopped.
Yeah, right?
Like all the drama, the head games, the stupid oh, wait, it's after 10. The stupid shit, all that. It just stopped.
Yep.
And because of that, good things happen.
So with that being said, because I got 3 guys here that would say Sherman, and I did see David said something about not there, and I'll get his comment in a section. And thank you to everybody tuning in right now. I it's not that I disagree because all the Sherman points are great. We do have a couple of guys that need to show off. And I understand that they're like, say, practice roster guys, they're backups, stuff like that. The guy who had a great preseason game there, D. Delaney, even number 43 there who was in last night, even Adams. If we start going after, and I guess it'd be kind of doubling down. If we're going to go after veterans, like pick up one veteran to replace, and this is just based off injury, totally understand. If we're going to replace that because of the way that it was played, like we can't have that kind of yardage and stuff like that, I would double down and say maybe you should get another veteran as well to be in your running back committee. And I'll get to that in a second. But if anything, I want to see. No, I have a different one, but I do think, and that's kind of where I was going to go. With our corners, though, I want to see the rookies do good first, just like I would like to see Giovanni Bernard and Keyshawn Vaughn and the other guy we got on our roster get some more carries first before we would start looking at any veterans. But that's just me. If this is win now mode, we're bringing in guys and bringing in bodies that are going to prove themselves and they're going to get in there and they're going to win now. I would make 2 calls then. You go call Richard Sherman, you get him on a veteran minimum, whatever it takes to get him in there, whatever, sure. Make sure everything on the offseason stuff is as best put aside as you possibly can. If it is, sign him. And then I would also get Adrian Peterson, kind of like what Johnny was saying. A lot of people,
He's 57 years old.
But
man, he was.
Here's the thing, though. AP the last couple of years has been in situations where he hasn't been able to be he hasn't been as banged up as he would have been, say, in Minnesota and some of the other places he's been. He still has a couple of years left where he can give you a couple of really good games. AP has also been known to actually been like he can catch the ball. You go look at his highlights back in the day. Some of those really great runs that he had was because he caught that ball. I mean, yeah. Brett Favre just loved throwing him the damn ball too. Like that was really cool to watch. The other side of it, though, is AP basically put it out there in the summertime where he's like, I want to go to a championship team. And I'll sit here and I will be ready for when that championship team is ready. And and this is just me. No one here at Bucs Report has any sneaking suspicion or any insider report or anything like that. But this is me looking at the writing on the wall as a Bucs fan and being around a lot of people who are very, very smart here at Bucs Report and people who have been guests here at Bucs Report. I wouldn't be surprised if we have the same type of thing happen next week against Atlanta with our running backs and even against the Rams if we don't start calling maybe AP by week 4 and say, get ready for week 6. And that's just honestly me.
I think that's a long shot because you got Gio Bernard and there's your experience there. Every year we've had that veteran presence in the running back room, but we don't play that style of football. So I don't know how effective AP would be or Gore or anybody else actually. But the secondary, the reason I go with Sherman is because that's the only group on the team where there isn't that experienced guy.
Exactly.
Get people in place. And you see what that experienced person has done on every level that there's been from JPP and Sue on the defensive line. Look how that improved. To quarterback, we don't even have to talk about the quarterback. The wide receivers have vets in there. Every position on the team has that vet presence, except for the cornerbacks.
And I think Bruce wanted to let that kind of flourish into itself, though, right? And that's kind of the reason we let Vernon Hargraves
Right,
go.
they're only going to go so far without
Exactly.
that vet presence to put them in the right. You got to be on the field. I mean, the coaches are great at getting them prepared, but you have to have somebody on the field to look at the defense. And Sherman's seen every freaking defense. He's the Brady of the secondary right there.
Very true.
He's seen every single defense that you can throw at him, and he can get those guys in place and teach them the angles and stuff. You know.
Mm-hmm. To your point though about the Giovanni Bernard thing, it was Bruce Arians today actually was asked about the Giovanni Bernard situation. I think it was Jenna Lane that asked it if he was going to get more touches, and he said he is our third down back and our 2-minute back, and that is basically when he came in.
Yeah.
Then he also said that we don't throw to our backs. We've got a bunch of good wide receivers.
Exactly.
So
but the funny thing is, so he's the 2-minute back and third down back. So he's the back you trust in the clutch.
Right.
Uh-huh. So that's why I'm thinking if they were to ever, like, if I think they got that trust on Rojo and Lenny, but it's on, and I don't want to say on a short leash or anything like that, because that's kind of rude, but I think they're not far from being benched because of some of the mistakes that they've made. Though Fournette, anytime he
didn't Rojo basically get benched? He didn't have a touch after the fumble.
No, I know.
Aaron said in his meeting today that Rojo got inside his own head and he couldn't let that go, so we just didn't let him out there.
Yeah.
So somebody somewhere in the middle, either he benched him for a quarter, and then when he went to go back to get him, he was still being a punk or whatever,
or anything. Yeah.
And coach said, "Well, that's fine. We got these other guys," and that's the way it turned out. But every time you fumble, whether you're a wide receiver or a running back or the quarterback, well, he doesn't do it with the quarterback, but he will sit you out for a while.
Yep.
I made the comment last night that if you drop the ball, you drop in the depth chart, and that's Arians' way of thinking. He wants you to get it in your head that if you want to play, you got to hold on to the ball.
Whether we like it as fans or not, that's just how our coach is going to coach. We just got to accept it, kind of thing.
I don't like it personally. I mean, that's where from high school on, man, that's how it's done. I mean, you hold on to the ball.
The middle. I'm always in the middle because some of your best players are always going to drop passes. I mean, we were Evans. I mean, look at Evans at the beginning of his career. They were talking about Evans and Amari Cooper being like the two busts of the NFL, and all of a sudden those guys. Not Evans. Evans showed out last year, and Amari Cooper showed out last night. So, and both have gotten.
He showed out because of who he was playing against. I mean, Dean gave him a highlight reel, and that's just.
Hold on, Johnny. Go ahead, dude. Go ahead, dude.
I'm pounding on Sherman because I said it. When it was first brought to my attention again by Mr. Rick Hughes when we were talking offline. I, like Andrew, I had the initial reaction I had when they talked about signing Antonio Brown. I'm like, no, come on, we don't need that, right?
Exactly.
And then I stopped for a second and said, wow, last year, late in the playoffs and the Super Bowl, and now the first game this season, we're like, holy crap, we got Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Richard Sherman isn't going to play at the level Antonio Brown's playing. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it will be nice as we get towards the playoffs and on a playoff run and into the playoffs and hopefully deep into the playoffs that your depth is Richard Sherman.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, think about that.
Now, a couple of comments here. Just wanted to get to these. Isn't Sherman looking at possible jail time for the DUI, smashing into a fence, all that kind of stuff? There is the possibility, but there also is a lot of misconceptions in that. There is still some stuff he shouldn't have done. The doorbell cam does not look good on his case either, but there is also other angles that have come out that it's not, I don't want to say it's not as bad as it looks, but it's also not necessarily as extreme as it looks, right? But we do need to see everything happen first before we can make a full opinion on that. I would agree with that. Sherman has the knowledge, but he don't have the speed no more. They're going to have to keep a safety over the top of him at all times. Now, here's the thing, though. In San Francisco, they did let him have one side of the field, and as long as you can cover that 7-yard gap outside of him, San Francisco had a lot of good success with that running through. And we have two very good safeties when they're healthy, and even a third one who's arguably a starter in anybody else's team. to back him up. So I can get, yeah, exactly. We could probably do that if we needed to. Ezekiel Elliott isn't a joke. That boy was manhandling White when he was pass blocking. And to what Matt was actually saying earlier is, yes, that's pass blocking though, but he needs to do more considering of what he's being paid to do. There's a reason why running backs are losing some of the contracts that they are losing now, is because we looked at the Le'Veon Bell situation. We've looked at, and it's more Mike McCarthy with Dallas. I'm not going to put it all on Zeke, but you look at the Zeke situation, you look at Cleveland. Some teams can do really good with the running back, but as soon as he gets paid, it sometimes harms the team. And Dallas is loaded right now and is going to have to save some money here soon. I think it's going to have to come from there. And don't want Sherman bringing that woke thought into our locker room. Keep that stuff on the West Coast. Kind of like what the dude Johnny and Matt has all said here. Anyway, I don't think that thing would even come close to our locker room. The GOAT is already here for a reason. He would text him first and be like, hey, that attitude doesn't even come close here, right?
Well, you got to realize there's people that have been drafted from the West Coast that are in our locker room.
Absolutely.
That's also true.
Washington, that's where Vita Vea came from, right?
Yeah, Tom Brady trumps everything as far as from what we've seen. That's all we can go by, right?
Yeah.
He runs that locker room not in like a president or dictator, just that he's there and you have to act a certain way or you're going to be pulled aside, and that itself translated to 2 or 3 wins last year for this team.
Right.
Just doing the right thing at the right time. And when you don't, beating yourself up until you do, because that's what Tom Brady does. Go look at the sideline.
That is very true. That is very true.
Look at the whole team. Look at the leadership on the team itself, period. I mean, from the top to the bottom, you start with Tom Brady and you go through JPP, Sue, all these great Levante David. There's great leadership on this team.
Yeah, did you guys see America's game this week?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Do you see how Devin White was talking about, I'm a second-year guy, but, because I perform, I'm still leading.
Exactly.
I'm still telling these veterans what to do.
Hells yeah. Even kind of goes into what Ben Parrish is saying here. Sherman, not a bad pick. Definitely got to fix that issue regardless of who it is. That's a very good point. Tapasio also said there's nobody available better than Sherman. There is a couple of corners that would be, honest opinion, I think across the board here, a couple of tiers underneath it. But the Buccaneers weren't going to pull on the, I think, $8 million it would have costed for Roby at his cost. If it is a 6th or 7th round pick, we wouldn't have been able to swallow that. Here's a weird comment because it comes from my mother. My mom says Sherman was the Seattle player, right? Yes, Mom. If so, I think his ego got the best of him, and with his arrest, I don't think he should play at all. Why reward bad behavior? So it's a good comment, Mom, and it's a good thought. The problem is though, and
America.
I'm glad one of them said it, but it also goes with the NFL, right? If you have the skill set, you will get the chance. That's the reason why Aldon Smith has been allowed back into the league compared to Ray Rice, and a couple of other comparisons like that.
Let's face it, these major corporate advertisers like Budweiser and Chevrolet and all that, they're not paying that money to put their name next to Ross Cockrell.
No, that's
they want that graphic above Tom Brady's head and above these big guys' names' head. So if these guys are on big contracts, they're not going to – I'll put it this way. First of all, in America, not a lot of rich people go to jail. Okay?
Exactly.
And now neither do a lot of celebrities. Now when you're both and an athlete, that's 3 things on your side that you're not going to jail. And if you do, it's going to be that, well, he's got to go in for this weekend. He'll be out on Monday, though, and then he's scot-free. And it is what it is. We've already – we're numb to it.
Or the glove didn't fit, so things like that happen.
With Richard Sherman's problems with outside the team, I don't even. Those are mental issues. The guy tried to commit suicide by cop. Okay,
yes,
so those are mental issues, and I'm not even going to touch my toe into that.
Well, of course they're going to do their due diligence on his legal background, what's going on with that, what it could happen, what his mental condition is, and all that. I mean, I'll put it to you this way. Blonde mustached Antonio Brown was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs there for a minute.
Oh,
right?
yeah. As I go and do that. But
we could speculate as to why. I really don't care. I'm glad he's better. That said, a couple talks with Tom Brady. You move in, you hang out with Tony Robbins for the weekend. Boom. Dude, if you saw him last night, he was clear-eyed. He was focused. And dude, he was running routes that I went, wait a minute, that's Madden. That doesn't happen in real life. Dude. Some of the moves he was making, the separation, you could see him and Tom Brady have that thing that Brady and Gronkowski have. It's just a connection.
Right? Yeah,
Evans and them
just
don't
being in
have
the
it
room
yet.
with the right kind of people can help your mental stability also.
Exactly. David also says, it had to bother Rojo a little because after he fumbled, they benched him for however long. But when Chris Godwin fumbled, the very next series is when the very first pass they threw to Godwin. And I don't see how either one of our running backs are going to get into a groove or even our offensive line run blocking when you only run the ball, I think, 11 times. So I have said this before. I'm not going to start naming names on anybody else on any other shows or anything else. There's been people who have not say made a living or anything like that, but they've made a following right now of mocking the running back by committee, and it's all Rojo, and have stayed on that high horse and stuff like that. And honestly, you guys got to start coming down from it. I love Rojo just as much as anybody else. I love anybody that ever puts on the Buccaneers jersey. I don't care who it is. I don't care. You come to the Buccaneers, I love you. Even if you suck, I give you the appreciation until you're gone. And then after that, then we're going to have a debate about the greatest of all time. And I have literally those lists right here where I'm going to put them up here so they can actually stream at the bottom what we have voted one time, because that's what I do on my show. But for all those people out there who keep thinking Rojo's going to get, the big payday and lead this team, I hate to break it to you. He's not going to get the big payday. He may lead this team, but it's going to be at a discount rate, and it's probably going to be with 3 other guys hounding for his job. Look at what the Buccaneers did in the draft last year. Look at what they did in the draft the year before that. Tyler Johnson fell through their lap. We got to replace Godwin possibly somehow. JPP's getting old. And Shaq's going to want a big contract possibly that we're still negotiating. Going to have to go get Tryon. You mean to tell me if the Bucs win the Super Bowl next year or have the 31st overall pick or any of those top tier picks that they wouldn't go after possibly the best running back that's available? Najee Harris fell to 23 to the Pittsburgh Steelers last year. If the Buccaneers were to have an opportunity to get a all-star running back that we haven't had since the likes of Matt, name one.
Leonard Fournette.
Cadillac Williams.
Johnny, name one.
Leonard Fournette.
Dude, name one.
Eric Rett.
Sure. The great running backs of the day. All right. We have only had a couple, whereas other teams have been able to hold rafters and celebrations for a couple of the other running backs that they've had. Okay. We haven't had that many. We've had flashes of 4 to 5 year greatnesses. We haven't had the great running back.
I feel like that's a low-key dig at the Lions.
I mean, I love my co-host. Okay. But here's the thing. We're going to be drafting at 31, 32 overall from now on. That's the way it is. The Buccaneers are winning the championship next year. What do you think we're looking at? The replacement for Rojo and Fournette and Giovanni Bernard. Basically, every single person that is going to be replaceable, as in the contracts are running out, as in the same thing that happened with Godwin and Shaq Barrett. Just look to the stars, and you follow me at North Sports Dynasty with my co-host because we do mock drafts. And by the way, props to Alex because he actually, by percentage-wise, is an analyst for the amount that he got right last year. And because he got one more right than me, I'm still just a piece of crap. And just what I do here. So.
Just a piece of crap.
I'm just a piece of crap. Even though my fiance doesn't think that. She's over there looking hella fine in her Buccaneers attire that I am going to rip off of her in about 20 minutes.
Oh, thanks for sharing.
Well, there's Dolphins gear underneath it. I need to take that off and put Buccaneer gear over top of it. I can't have that stuff in my house anymore. Anyways, David also said, Andrew, the police video shows him trying to take the cop's gun. To Johnny's point, though, it was because of suicidal actions. Some of the stuff that is going on is really hard to talk about, and it is hard to get a full, complete story until we know everything that has gone on. All we can do is take it from the police's side and what Richard Sherman was dealing with, and just hope that if he does come to our team, everything has been completed on the off-field side of things, and he comes in here with an open mind. I understand, but stonewalling the person everybody said was the best linebacker last year is pretty damn. Hey, no, I will give you that, though. I'll give you that, David. I'm giving you that because you're not wrong. If half of his contract was, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think it's like 12 and a half a year, maybe 14. But if half of his contract was $7 million to block like Devin White's coming at Dak Prescott, you earned your effing cash, buddy. I much respect and props to you, David.
Devin White still had the best stats of the linebackers last night.
No, he did not.
Who had a better?
That was David, buddy, wasn't it? That was David.
Okay,
yeah, Levante David. He had one hell of a stop on Ezekiel, that's for sure. David Mosier said, Andrew, you better agree with what your mother says. Listen, I didn't expect my mom to just randomly pop in here and start asking questions about Richard Sherman, but that's just what she does. Okay. So, Drew Pagones, thank you for tuning in, says, I was actually impressed with the offensive game plan by the Cowboys with Dak. People are complaining about our defense, but we won't play many offenses that have that much talent throughout the season. You're also not wrong.
Next game.
Well, I was going to say, in comparison to the Cowboys, like on their level, on the Cowboys offensive level, I would say the Rams and I would say the Bills off the top of my head are the two that I would say we need to game plan like we're playing the Cowboys then, because they got some offenses that I don't want to play with at all.
So, and one of the New Orleans games.
And one,
we're going to
week
split
8
with New Orleans at the rate we're going right now.
I've said that. I still have the two that I said this year is still the Patriots in week 4. Sorry, I got distracted. I just looked this the Saints week 8.
Sorry, I don't mean to butt in, but I just looked this up on Devin White. He had eight total sacks last night. So
wow.
He wasn't shut out.
No, he wasn't shut out then. Okay. I heard on a few other shows last night and this morning that they wonder the reason why we only ran the ball 11 times is because Brady's ego, because he's giving 2 plays to run out on the same set is a run and one is a pass, and he always checks to the pass. Even when they had nobody up in the middle and it was like 3rd and 2, he still tried to throw it to Bernard out on the backfield instead of just running it right up the middle. Problem is, though, if we keep sticking to the game plan that everybody thinks that we're going to do or that is anticipated for, that's how we never win. I mean, we did 67% of the time in first games last year run the ball with basically Rojo. Yes, that is true. But that was also to keep teams on it's the first play of the game. We're just going to run it. We're going to see who's out there. We're going to see how they set up. It's just the way it is. It's the way the Buccaneers are going to play it. But I'm also not going to not tear them up, which I'm not saying you are, David, of course. I'm not going to speak ill too much about the defense because they still allowed 403 yards passing and 29 points up, but they still at key moments made the key tackle or a key play to do what they needed to do. Not as much and not as well as they did last year, because last year they did like hella good plays here and there. Okay.
First game.
Exactly. But it's going to take time. It's going to take time. Like I said at the beginning, the defense is going to be the slowest part. It's just the way it is. Okay. Last 2 comments before I get everybody out of here tonight. Thank you all for tuning in for a pop-up edition of Live from the Cheap Seats on a Friday night. Christopher Cole says, I believe that BA would run the ball if he had a great running back. Buddy, you imagine, this is just me. You imagine if Bruce Arians back in the day, came to the Buccaneers and we had a 23-year-old David Johnson Jr., the old Arizona Cardinal pass catching back. Oh boy.
Who did he have in Indianapolis? Wasn't a scrub, I'll tell you that right now. It was.
I was gonna say it wasn't Trent Richardson. It was just before that. Oh my God. Matt, well done. You stumped me. And I should have known that because I was going to say, I know they made the trade for Trent Richardson and it was to replace one guy. And now I'm losing it if it was before or after that.
Wasn't it, oh God, what's his name? The one that Alex likes to draft?
Ah, damn it, dude. Why are you doing that to me again? Damn it, man. I got to get through these. Hold on. I'll figure that out. I guarantee Matt has spit tobacco into a spittoon before. I have.
Wow.
I have. Are you kidding me? I probably have more than Matt, dude. My 2 months of like chewing that I did in my life was like worst thing ever. I'm still pulling out
2
crap from
months.
like, I'm still pulling. Dude, I just took a swig with my tongue down there and it tasted like freaking Cherokee lime again. Damn it.
For the record, he said tongue.
Tongue. My tongue, guys. And Bucs Report says it's time to turn our attentions to the Falcons. You are damn right. And that's where you are going to see me on Sunday talking about the Atlanta Falcons, who to look out for, some of the sleepers on that team, some of the offensive weapons, some of the defensive guys, just giving you guys a full spectrum breakdown before you get a full week slate from Mr. Rick Hughes and everybody else at Bucs Report. Because we got a long time now before the next game. We got a whole Sunday where we can sit back, relax, and be like, oh, cool, the Cardinals won. You know who else won? My team. That's right. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, ladies and gentlemen, are victorious 31-29 over the Dallas Cowboys on a Thursday night game to start the season. These gentlemen are all going to leave with me at the same time. All of you at the same time. Tell all the fans goodbye and see you this weekend.
Au revoir. See
Au
you
revoir.
next week. Later.
Later, Gator.
All right. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in on the late episode and a pop-up episode of Live from the Cheap Seats with your host, Andrew Faubert. That is me live here in Canada. If you could believe it, here in my basement where they finally let me out sometimes. You have all been so great, so special for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you. This has always been a blast. I always enjoy these shows, especially when you get the call, like, can we get a show on there? Damn right you can get a show on there. All you got to do is give me a call, and I'll be here for all the fans anytime they need me. So props to all of you guys for staying around and popping in for this show. Thank you for all the people. Woo, that was a little rough. Apologies for that. Thank you to all the fans who gave love to my co-host, Alex Loosemore, who is just dealing with some COVID stuff right now. We are hoping that he is going to be feeling better. He will not be on the show tomorrow, but we were just hoping that he gets all the rest that he needs. Shout out to him. Shout out to you, the Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan base out there. You guys make this really fun. Whether we were winning or not, I would be doing this because I love doing this. I love talking about the Bucs. I love being around fans who know exactly what they're talking about. And that is why I will always bring on Matt Coulson. That's why I always bring on Johnny Dean. It's why I bring on the boss, even though he's kind of got like this black card because this is his, beautiful baby. He's allowed on here anytime. But if he speaks stupid crap, I'm going to kick him off. But he never does because he's a very intelligent man. And just like every other man on this platform and woman, everybody here is absolutely intelligent and brings the best Buccaneer content for you, the Buccaneer fans, daily here on Bucs Report. Stay tuned. You can see me tomorrow morning talking fantasy football at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Mountain Time for all my Canadian viewers around the world. And then I'll be back here live from the cheap seats on Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you all again for tuning in. Much love. Take care now. Bye-bye then. We'll see you on Sunday.
T-minus 20 seconds.